All right, so hello everybody. I'm joined today by Jacob HALEK with Inspired Stone and Tile. Welcome, Jacob. Why don't you go ahead and just tell the audience, what it is you do?
Yeah, I'm a tile contractor. I just started my own business last year. I have 10 years experience as a tile contractor, but just decided to go on my own this past year. And yeah, just kind of love the freedom that it gives me to find my own customers and clients and just be as busy as I want to be. It's pretty nice.
Awesome. And how'd you get started? Was it something that you just kind of stumbled into, or have you always wanted to do something with your hands? What's the case there?
Yeah, I definitely out of high school, had a friend that asked me to join him in laying patios as brickscaping. So I gave that a good 10 years. I enjoyed it. I ended up being like a foreman for a hardscape crew out of a landscape company, making retaining walls, boulder walls, and patios. And then eventually my parents moved up to Traverse City, and 10 years later, I got tired of taking all my vacations up there, so I decided to move and starting a patio company up in Traverse City. I bumped into a guy named Jeff Trzowski, and he was a tile setter for 25 years. And he said, you have a really good eye for detail. Let me teach you the trade and come join me and my crew. So I did, and no regrets ever since. I switched to being a tile contractor and just focusing more on the artistic side of it.
And how'd you come to the decision, like, hey, I'm working for this guy laying tile and everything, to hey, I want to own my own business, eventually run my own crew, sort of thing. How'd you come to that realization that you wanted to own your own thing?
Well, I guess my dad started his own business. He's a home appraiser, and just watching him at home as with his home business, I just kind of always thought that was awesome that he could make his own schedule, take vacation when he wanted to, and be as busy, just work 10 hours a day for a couple years straight if he wanted. Like that's pretty awesome. So I decided to. I went to school for it. I got my associates in business management, learned how to create the business, run the business, and just kind of kept that in my pocket, waiting for a good opportunity to have a good business venture to jump into. And now I kind of feel like I perfected my tile game where I can be that guy to maybe share my expertise to an apprentice or have someone else be a tile setter alongside of me and I just grow a team.
Well, I mean, you've definitely even educated me and the other business owners. Jacob here is a member of our business club, our local business club, and you've shared some great information about tile and stuff like that with the group. Um, has there been anyone in your life that's influenced the way you've done business? I know you mentioned the gentleman from Traverse City, and then now your dad. Did either one of those guys have an influence on the way either you run the business, deal with clients, etc.?
My dad was probably my biggest role model. Um, just got to see how he handles really the phone game. Being a home appraiser, he just always had title people calling him, mortgage people, just loan officers left and right, and I just kind of grew up waiting for my buddies to call, and next thing you know, I'm talking to a loan officer, taking a message from my dad and trying to do a good job at it. So that's just kind of where it got started. And then yeah, the gentleman in Traverse City, he had 25 plus years experience, and I always wanted to call him like a tile wizard because he could just do some pretty awesome stuff with some not much to work with, just bringing life to old 100-year-old homes or just having a huge monster house. I think the biggest one I worked on with him was 18,000 square feet. And just to jump in there and tile the whole thing, all 7 bathrooms and how many thousand square feet of tile, just to be able to handle that and bring all this joy and all this elegance to the project with the finished product. It's just kind of awesome. And he just handled it very well. Where if he was just trying to bless people with a good product.
And what was it like? I'm curious because and maybe maybe I'm an outlier. What was it like going into a big house like that for the first time? Because selling real estate, and it's funny. Like, have you ever seen the movie 8 Mile? I always tell people like the scene where Eminem's like, "Cause I live at home in a trailer." Mom, I'm coming home to you. Like that part I related with so much when I was growing up because we did live in a mobile home. So I never got to experience what a big house was like until I started real estate. And I walked in and I felt like I didn't belong. Like I wasn't supposed to be there.
Right.
Did you ever have that feeling when you first like walked into a 18,000 square foot house?
Definitely, yeah, and, like, what I'm clumsy, I'm klutzy, like, "Please don't drop my hammer, please don't drop my tape measure," like, I can't what am I doing in this house? But
Right,
yeah,
scratching like your expensive floor.
right, taking off my shoes before I even walk through the threshold, and like, "Oh, no, that's okay," I'm like, "Oh, believe me, I'll take them off," like, I can't pay for any of
Right.
this stuff.
Don't even want to get their porch dirty.
Right.
Um, what's it like owning a business and also having a family? I know I've told you this before, but I always tell people I'm just Dave because people ask me, hey, do you have a wife and kids and stuff? And my response is always, no, I'm just Dave. So I can imagine there has to be an added complexity with running a business and then trying to also manage a family.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think with all life, this balance is key. Getting your priorities straight, knowing that family's got to come first, but business is a close second, and you just got to interchange. If it's time to work, it's time to work. It's kind of easy with setting tile because your hands are get all full up, thin set and dirty, and you're kind of using the wet saw, so you can't hear the phones. Most of the time when I'm working, I got a small degree of radio silence. And my wife knows that, my kids know that, so it's really that part's easy for me. And getting home, I really just got to put the phone down. It's usually 5 o'clock, so I could make my phone calls back the following day. So usually when I get home, I'm just kind of radio silence happens all over again.
That's one of the things that if I had any jealousies about tradespeople, it's a lot of them getting they're out at 5. They may start early on certain days, but for the most part, a lot of the times, especially if you have a longer, you guys are out of there 5, 6 consistently, right?
Well, yeah, and if I don't have that too, if my I feel like the quality of work the following days, if I don't get that time off or that balance of family or rest, then I'm just kind of borderline a hot mess the next day. So it's
And
kind of clutch.
is that an expectation that you set with the clients ahead of time, or is it just, hey, it's 5 o'clock and all of a sudden you're out the door?
Yeah, no, definitely. To complete projects in a timely manner is definitely something that I want to give to the client. So depending on what kind of project it is, if it's a master bath remodel or if it's a new construction and I'm tiling the whole basement, I will definitely let you know it's going to take this amount of days, usually a week or two, and I'll just stick to that schedule. Um, there's definitely things come up. They call it a tile emergency, but you definitely got to handle those things. And to handle them and balance family is kind of key. Or I can't just give my total life to my work because I do have a family. I do have responsibilities beyond working. Yeah, definitely. Just communication with the customer, the client is key. And by the end of the day, the jobs get done. And really hate to make anyone wait for their finished products.
Fair enough, and I didn't mean to lead you with that. I was just trying to get at because I'm sure you set an expectation of timelines and when you'll be leaving and sort of stuff like that. Because I feel like that's where a lot of business owners miss the mark. Right? Is if you don't set the expectation, then they might be expecting you to just stay there all day until the job's finished, or they might expect it to just be done in 2 days. But if you set the expectation from the beginning, usually clients are pretty understanding, right?
Oh yeah, and definitely by the time the customer's watching me, it's like set the tile in their master bath, they see how much work it is, and then it kind of dawns on them like, oh, this is not something that is going to be done today. This is going to probably take all week, and that's kind of for a master bath. A week timeline is about the average. Yeah, it's very rare that I get a day or two completion with a job. That's usually a couple days to a week.
Couple days to a week. And do you think that's like one of the common misconceptions with clients out there? Or would you say that's the top misconception is like timelines, or what's a misconception if there is anything like with clients in your business?
Well, I guess there's definitely I take over jobs after a DIYer tries to tile themselves. It's no big deal for me to pick up someone else's mistakes and try to make it all look pretty again, but it's it, it's hard work. It takes a artistic eye, and like I said before, like experience is king. It takes years and years of experience to be able to even float mud on the wall to make it a plumb finish, a plumb wall, and not have lippage on your tiles. So that's I would say that's a
Or a brick
misconception.
wall where you can feel the waviness. I've been in those bathrooms where I'm like, this is an accidentally textured wall just because it has waves on it.
Right. No, and that's not acceptable in my eyes. And yeah, I'll kind of will grab the customer right then and there when I see stuff like that and let them know, like, hey, this is going to take a little bit extra time, a little bit extra material because you got to float that area out with thinset with mortar and let them know, like, if it's not something that you're willing to compromise with, if you want your project done in tomorrow, we're just going to have to call these waves in the wall acceptable. So nine times
Right.
out of 10, people just say, all right, take your time. I understand. Like, I want it to be perfect.
Fair
So,
enough.
yeah.
Yeah, people want to get what they paid for, right?
Right. Right. And
And
tile
have
is
you always
forever. That's the other part. Like you want it perfect because tile, it's gonna last your lifetime. There's not too many people that tile their shower and just get tired of the color combination and retile it 5 years later. It really doesn't happen. So just try to give them that
and have
perfect.
that perfect result. Have you
Right.
always kinda had that sentiment? I mean, like, what would you say is, like, the biggest, oopsie or mistake that you've had on the job, whether it was, way back or, just something that happened?
Try spilling buckets of water is definitely an oopsie, especially when you're in someone's finished house. Like just running up the stairs with 2 5 gallons worth of buckets full of water and missing your step and spilling water down the staircase. It happened once in my life, and that was I thought I was gonna have a heart attack.
I'm sure, because 'cause I'm sure, the way luck works is it was probably a pretty nice house, wasn't it?
Right, and I cleaned it up like it never happened, but still, I didn't account for that 2 hours worth of the cleanup by the time I'm trying to jam away the tile installation.
Right. I remember I was doing an open house once, and big beautiful house, but must have had the oldest windows alive because it was just so hot in there, and I went to go open up one of the windows to let a breeze in, and just like the top of the window just like s- snapped off. I don't know how to, but I barely even pushed up, but the plastic or the wood, whatever is on there, just like snapped off of it. And so now I had like this, window that was open. Of course, there was no screen. So now it's just like stuck in this spot. And I feel like bees are going to start, like, of course, it always happens at the nice house when you least expect it.
I feel your pain, like, that is
Um, what's one of the biggest challenges in your field?
biggest challenges in my field, um, was definitely tying everything together, um, just with elevations of a new floor to a existing floor. Just to get that perfect seamless edge is sometimes hard by the time you have just an old house with different subfloors and different finishes. And next thing you know, you're trying to come up with 2.5 inches to a bathroom to come into the hallway. It gets a little tricky, but I
And
feel
is
like all that
that
extra.
now
Yeah, what?
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, just to pull all those subfloors, all those subfloor materials together, it gets a little tricky. because you just gotta add and add and add. And is it worth it to add so
I'm
much
sure.
material?
And again, I'm not tile literate, but I did used to be a scheduling manager for a flooring company. So is like that? Is it STF? Is that what it's called? That like
LTF?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it was called SDF, but it was like the the floor finisher. It was like something that I think they mixed and then they put it down on the floor to try and get it even. I'm not sure if it
Oh,
was meant for.
self-leveling system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely use that. And that is a nice little, that's a trick of the trade right there. It makes it a little bit
I
easier.
wasn't sure if that was very kind because or if it was just something that they were using because they're putting them into these big buildings in New York or whatever. Wasn't sure what the case is, so I wasn't sure if that was something you
Oh yeah.
use regularly in your work or.
Well, you try to look at a project and you don't want to exhaust the resources in the underlayment. So you look at a bag of that self-leveling system is about $80.
Okay, so it's the more expensive solution.
Right, exactly. And then to how much height you're trying to achieve. If you want to get an inch or two, cement board is probably the cheapest. So you're stacking cement board on top of each other instead of using 10 bags of that self-leveling system. So it
Okay.
kind of goes hand in hand for job.
Yeah, I was just curious because I mean, this place it was New York, so like they like did Daniel Craig's apartment. His Daniel Craig, if you see this episode, I'm sorry, but your flooring looks like a dirty fruit roll up. I saw the pictures. Whatever he picked out, the carpet that was in there, it looked like a dirty fruit roll up. It was but hey, Daniel Craig must know what he's doing, I guess. Where do you see the business going in like the next 5 years?
I definitely would love to bring on some more employees, to have an apprentice or two, to teach them how to be the cut guy, how to grout, and to mature them into being a tile setter and having a couple people under me. That would be definitely a goal or something I'd like to achieve. So yeah.
If you had any advice for someone that was maybe just getting into the industry, just getting started, getting their feet wet, what advice would you have for them?
If you're just getting into the contracting field or the labor intensive field, I would say don't give up. There's gonna be tough days and there's gonna be days where you wanna throw the towel in, but I feel like the more time you put into the trade, the more time you get in experience, and experience is definitely king in the world. The more experience you have, the better you are, the more you bring to the table. So yeah, stick with it and more rewards will come your way.
And what about like resources for them, like websites, any trainings, or anything that would be useful to someone that's just trying to get some information, getting started?
Yeah, definitely. If you any classes you can come up with is only helpful. I took a like a trade school course in high school, and I felt like that was definitely helpful. Just learning all the tool names, how to be able to talk to somebody. Like you need a skill saw, you need a T square, just to know what they're talking about instead of having a handful of questions is definitely helpful. There definitely is courses out there. A Schluter system is great in the tiled world. That helps with the waterproofing and with different trims, and even with the heated floor. Schluter has everything covered, and they do offer classes and certifications to just be a warranty installer for Schluter. The Schluter system's great. It offers a lifetime warranty. So if you install it properly, it's going to last forever. That's another
Okay,
thing. Certifications, classes, they're awesome.
fair enough. Fair enough. I just asked that. I just asked a question because I was just curious, right? I'm not sure. And there's like for realtors, there's a bajillion, different websites, resources that I could, rattle off my head. So I wasn't sure if that was kind of similar for tradespeople or if it was just, hey, hop on YouTube, right?
Oh yeah, if you can find classes themselves, like they are few and far between. There's not a handful of them. So that Schluter is one of them. Trade schools just getting construction trades is probably doesn't give you a ton of information, but it definitely gives you a broad information set of everything, which is helpful.
And is that a skill set that you've passed along to your kids because you have, what was it, 15 or 16-year-old you said, and then a
Yeah.
15-year-old?
Fifth, I have a baby and a 16-year-old boy. Yeah, so the 16-year-old boy, his name is Xander, and he's definitely getting into the trade slowly. He definitely has a good work ethic, but I just feel like all kids are a little lazy. But
Yeah, he's 16, he's trying to hang out, chill, and
yeah, I don't blame him at all. Like you're gonna work until you're dead, pretty much. Like might as well enjoy being a kid while you're a kid. But I've got him
but
to the job site a couple times. Surprisingly, he's a good grouter, and grouting is tough. So just to get him out to have him grout a floor for me as I'm working on a different area of the house and kind of look over his shoulder to see how he's doing. That was pretty awesome. And he was able to do it. I don't know if I can
that's
get
a
him.
great skill set to have.
Yeah, right. He uh he definitely wants to get into he wants to be an engineer. So I don't want to hold him back from that to be a tile contractor, but let him know that I could make you some decent money while you go to school. I think he's in it.
Oh, right, and I'm sure a lot of that stuff is gonna, correlate or translate or, help your understanding with the engineering side of things because, like I told you earlier, these are not skilled hands. My brain just does not work that way. Like if you gave me a IKEA piece of furniture, I'd buy a bottle of champagne if I could have myself put it together. Like that would be a celebratory event.
Well, you're not alone. There's a lot of people like that.
No, that's what I'm saying though. It's I think being able to work with tools, just in a general sense, is just completely undervalued because I cannot. I'm looking over at my wall and there is a light switch that does not have a cover on it. That's because it's the switch part, and I can change the plates all the time, but I've never changed the switch part. So that's probably going to be my little YouTube project for later after I go to Home Depot. But that's the level that I'm at is a screwdriver, things that just require a screwdriver.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing with the podcast. Like, I don't have that hat to be able to sit in the desk and pull all this stuff together. Like, that is a gift.
Hey, different. What's the phrase? Different strokes for different folks or whatever. Yeah, everybody has a different skill set, and if you go back and watch one of the previous episodes on the channel, I interviewed Ryan and Caleb, Ryan from our business group, and shoot. You ever have those moments where you start saying something and you forget why you were saying it? What were we just talking about?
All the time. Ryan and
Ryan.
Caleb.
Yep. I brought that up. I brought them up because of something that you said.
For different strokes for different folks that they're
Oh,
for
skill
their
sets.
skill set.
Skill sets. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, they were just kind of talking how Caleb he's the son, so he is the tech person, right? He's doing the social media. They also have a podcast together besides doing the financial advising and stuff like that. So, um, and then obviously Ryan has the business acumen and the experience. So sometimes if you can make that work, kudos to you. And usually not my advice to open up a business with family members, but hey, if it works, it works, right? Especially if you have skill sets that complement each other, right? And it's not something that like when I did this podcast, much like you were talking about learning and refining, refining what you do, I couldn't have done this just out of the box. I had to hop on. I watched so many YouTube videos and trainings, and hey, here's how you operate a camera. Here's how you connect. I don't think I can lift it up. No, I won't be able to lift it up. But like, listen here, like different stuff like that. I had no clue when setting up this microphone. If I just used this out of the box, it would have sounded horrible. So
That's
don't
over my
don't
head.
worry. You're not alone. Not all this tech stuff. I'm also constantly learning. So don't feel as bad. And I learned this in like took me 2 months, right? I just at night I would hop on YouTube, whatever. And so if there's anybody watching out there, you're only a couple like months and you know, you're a little focused and a little time away from having a new skill set or learning something new or having a new talent or something that you can bring to the table, right? But if I wouldn't have taken the time to learn all this stuff, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Super cool. Pretty
So
awesome.
that being said, Jacob, do you have any final messages for the audience out there that may be looking to get some stone and tile work done?
Yeah, I would, to anyone looking to get a remodel or to new construction, to even builders, I would gladly give you a hand in all the any part of the tile process, picking out tiles, evaluating the space. Um, yeah, to anything, please give me a call and let me give you a hand.
And how can they get a hold of you?
I'm on the Google Business, Inspired Stone and Tile. You can jump on my website, Inspired Stone, through there and contact me. Also on Facebook, Inspired Stone and Tile. So yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on the channel, Jacob. I truly do appreciate it. So, if you guys are out there and you have a home in Michigan, or you are building a home in Michigan, or you are a builder in Michigan, go ahead and give Jacob HALEK a call with Inspired Stone and Tile. I'm going to go ahead and put any applicable links down in the description for you. But again, thank you, Jacob, for being on the channel, and we will catch you guys next time. Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it, Dave. Thanks.